Hey, it's Trey with the Trey Brews channel. Today we have a 5-gallon recipe kit from somebody different. A newer place that I found. It's actually my local homebrew supply store, but they also sell online. So I've got their Easy Wheat 5-gallon kit here. They describe this one as light, crisp, and refreshing with strong banana and clove notes. So in here we've got a lot of steeping grains with some wheat in there, I'm sure. And then two 3-pound bags of dry malt extract, and this is Bavarian wheat extract. And also 1 ounce of German Tettnang YCH hops. It's a very popular brand. The grain bag, and sold separately, but they conveniently listed on their site so you can choose. I swear I just heard a noise. Oh, it's my grilling stuff I just put up. But here's the liquid yeast. It's Y yeast, and this is a Belgian wit yeast. So I already did the slap pack, and so letting it sit, that was the first thing I did. So we've got 4 gallons of water back there. That's heating up to, I think, 160 degrees it says. Yeah, 160 degrees. And that's when we'll start steeping the grains. Okay, so we've got our water up to 160 degrees. About 162 actually. So the heat's been turned down a bit. So we have all of our grains, specialty grains. Slowly dropping them in. And then what I like to do is take my big spoon here. Didn't mean to get that top wet, but it's fine. So slide the spoon down here and make sure, let's get this over here. There we go. So by applying pressure to the grain bag, perfect. I'll pick this up and show. The grain bag is definitely not touching the bottom of the kettle. It's suspended more in the middle. So what we're doing is just allowing this to steep for 30 minutes. I already had the timer set for about 31. So steep for 30 minutes is what the instruction says. Got a lot of good flavoring, color, sugars out of these grains. And then we'll come back and add the malt extract in just about 35 minutes or so. Alright, we are at 30 seconds left into the 30-minute timer of steeping these grains. So I'm just going to stir them around the last few 30 seconds here. Once that goes off, actually I just already turned up the heat a little, but I just turned it up even more because as soon as we take these out, our next step is to bring this up to where it very first starts boiling, and then that's when we will add in the dry malt extract. So we'll wait till this gets up in temp and then do that. Okay, so we're very close to getting to a boiling point. You can probably see how high up the wort is compared to the top of the kettle. So we've got a product here called Fermcat. And basically, you do 2 drops per gallon. So I did 8 drops for 4 gallons is what we have right now. Basically, this breaks the surface tension of the boil because we're about to add our malt extract, which can always cause a boil over. So using Fermcat, that highly prevents that from happening. So we'll go get that malt extract and add that right now. Alright, so again we have 2 bags of Bavarian wheat malt extract. I'm going to go ahead and start getting that added in here. Slowly. Mix it in while it goes in. Watch for boilovers. And I'll just show a little bit of adding this one. And then off camera I'll add in the second one. And oh my gosh, this smells amazing. Once all this is added in though, we'll bring it up to a full boil. A rolling boil. That's when we'll start the timer for a 60-minute boil and get the 1 ounce of hops added in and go from there. The video may not show it too well, but we are at a boil. That firm cap kind of makes it not look so much like it's boiling, but it definitely is. It's at like 230 degrees actually, somewhere around there. So I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. Drop my hops in. And I'll explain. There we go. I set the timer for 45 minutes. This is a 60-minute boil, but in 45 minutes, when there's 15 minutes left into this boil, I'm going to add some Irish moss, which I've got over there. It's rehydrating. So this is the only hop addition, is the Tetning hops, and those boil for 60 minutes. So we'll come back when we add the Irish moss. I'll explain what that does. We are at 15 minutes left in the boil. You can see it's still definitely at a rolling boil over here. So we've got that Irish moss that we're adding in with 15 minutes left. You can see that it's in the water here and rehydrated. So the Irish moss I get from Great Fermentations as well. Comes in with a 4-ounce package. I've used it a few times and it hardly looks like I've used any. So it's cheap and it lasts forever, basically. But you add a teaspoon per 5 gallons at the last 15 minutes to the boil. And we're at about 4 gallons, so I did just go ahead and add about a teaspoon. But I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here. Since I know this is going to still end up being sanitized, what I'll do is there's some that sticks in here. Let's just kind of get it wet, and I got it all. So what the Irish moss does, simply, is you added it 15 minutes left into the boil, and when you get the wort chilled and everything, when you're going to pour the wort into the fermenter, you whirlpool the wort, everything kind of falls down to the bottom. The Irish moss attracts sediment in the wort, anything that's going to make your beer unclear in the finished product, pulls it down to the bottom of the kettle here, and so takes away a lot of that sediment. We just don't pour that into the fermenter, and again, in the end, it creates a much clearer beer, which is nice. Gives it that more professional look, makes it look clean, so that's why I've been using Irish moss. Okay, so we have the wort done with the 60-minute boil. I'm going to give it one quick stir, and I'll get the hops out off camera here. Maybe I'll do it on camera as I explain this. But I'm going to get the hops out and then start chilling the wort. It's going to take a moment getting about, I still have about 4 gallons, almost 4 gallons in here. So close enough to almost a full boil, not bad for a kettle that's 5 gallons. But I'm going to get this kettle over into my sink, which is down right here. Get that cooled off. I'll show my ice bath, and I'll also show, I guess you can't see it. Yeah, you can. The little bucket back here I've got filled with sanitizer. I'll show some sanitization of equipment as well. Okay, so we have a 6.5 gallon, it's actually a bottling bucket, but it works very well for sanitizing as well. Actually, I said that, but I've not done it well. I've not done it yet, but I know that this is going to work so much better for sanitizing than what I've been using. So, what I'm going to put in there is everything that's going to touch the wort. So we've got the spoon, which I will stir the wort while it's cooling every once in a while. That's why we keep that sanitized. The thermometer to check the temperature of the wort, that's got to be sanitized. The scissors that I'm going to cut the yeast open with. The bung stopper that goes in the carboy. All 3 pieces of the airlock. Ouch. The funnel to get the sanitization liquid into the carboy. The leaf, I think is what it's called. Yeah. And then the hydrometer, both pieces of that. And then I'll get them all, actually get them all full of the sanitization liquid out of the video. But that's everything that needs sanitized besides the packet of yeast. That'll wait for last because this water is hotter than what the yeast wants to be. So I'll just kind of splash it around and that, get it sanitized. So everything's being sanitized as the wort is being chilled over here. And then we'll get the carboy sanitized once it's closer to that time and get it poured into there. Here's where we're at now with the wort. You can see we've got an ice bath going on. I really need to get a wort chiller, I swear. But ice bath is going down. And over here, actually, over here we have two corgis. One just walked away. Everything on this paper towel has been sanitized. That's gonna touch the wort. So here's our carboy 6-gallon one, and I'm gonna get that sanitized now. Okay, so we just whirlpooled the wort in the kettle we've got up here. About 3.5 gallons, maybe 3 3/4 gallons of wort. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the fermenter here, which has been sanitized, as you can probably tell from the foam in there. Alright, so I've got all of the wort added in here, and then off camera I went ahead and added the water that we needed to get to the 5-gallon mark. So I got this sitting in my chair. I'm going to aerate it now. Just going to do this for about a minute or two. Get plenty of oxygen in here, which is what the yeast will want. And then once it's aerated, we'll add in the yeast and just put it on the airlock. Okay, so we've got our Y yeast, liquid yeast. That's definitely pouched up a lot. You can tell it was completely flat when I first got it. So the wort's been aerated. This is sanitized, as are my hands. So I'm going to go ahead and let it touch to the fermenter here. Get that yeast added in. Alright, I got this bung re-sanitized, so I'm just going to shake this up again, make sure that the yeast is all added in, mixed in with the wort, give it a little more oxygen. I'll move this into the room that I'll actually ferment this in, and finish up there. Alright, so at the end of my videos, I always like to show everything else I'm working on, while also showing what I just finished. So we've got, this is 5 gallons of cream ale. It looks really dark in the video. The lighting's not good at all in this room. But here's 5 gallons, it's in secondary. This is Oktoberfest. And then, let me pick this up. This is the 5 gallons of the wheat, the Easy Wheat by Great Fermentations that we just started or finished based on how you want to look at it. So awesome. 5-gallon batch, another one started. It's always exciting. Get to watch it ferment within the next few days. A lot of bubbling. It's always fun to see fermentation going on. Again, this kit is by Great Fermentations. They're a local homebrew supply store, but they also ship within the United States. They're based out of Indianapolis. So this kit, we haven't tried it yet. We're going to in about 5 to 6 weeks. And I'll link to that video as soon as that comes out, as soon as I make that. Really excited to try this one. But if this does come out well, you guys can try it. I'll put a link somewhere in the description where you can purchase this in either an extract kit or an all grain kit. So again, come back in about 5 to 6 weeks. We'll have a link somewhere probably in this area to where you can see that video when it's done. So subscribe, like the video if you'd like.
You can check out my website at treybrews.com. There will surely be some blog posts on these brews we've got going, other blog posts that are related to homebrewing, so check me out. Thanks.